everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you guys? I am here to bring you another video. Today is Fun Fold Friday, and I'm bringing you a Fun Fold card. So I love making Fun Folds. They are awesome, and this is a triple panel Fun Fold card. I am using the Autumn Wishes sentiment, so I called it Autumn Wishes Triple Panel Fun Fold card. But we're using the Fond of Autumn stamp set. I've been using it all week, and I hope you've been enjoying the projects that I have with it. My live on Tuesday also had this same stamp set. So if you didn't get to watch me live, I'm live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. So check those out. And this Fun Fold is really great and easy to do. So just follow along and you'll be happy that you did. The gorgeous paper that I'm using is out of our mini catalog that is good until December. And it is a gorgeous pack of designer series paper. It is called Splendid Day, and it is a specialty DSP because it has foiling. As you can see on my card there, it's shiny in the background. So all of these pieces that are in this pack of paper are foiled, and the backs are non-foiled. So I'm going to show you the pieces that I'm using today and how I went about using those. But they are part of the Splendid Day suite that is in our mini catalog. And there is the designer series paper. So you can see the foiling and the back side, what it looks like. So every sheet is foiled, the back side is smooth. So that is what we're going to be using today, and I hope that you will enjoy seeing me use that with the autumn set, even though we have some spring colors, right? Let's go ahead and move everything out of the way. As always, you guys know I'm a shape freak. I'm using stylish shapes today because I can. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how to go about this. So we're starting with a piece of rich razzleberry cardstock, and it's 4 1/4 by 11 inches. All right, so let me get my board out, my Simply Scored board. And we're gonna score it in a few places. I'm gonna move this to the side so you guys can see where I'm coming from. All right, so we're only gonna score down this long side. And this stylus comes attached right there in the bottom of your board, okay? So this is the 11-inch length. We're going to score it at 2.5 inches, at 3 3/4 inch, at 6 3/4 inch, at 8 1/4 inch, and that's it. Now I learned how to make this card. My upline, which is the person that I signed up under to sell Stampin' Up, I go to her house and we make projects once every other month. So this is a project that I got to make for an award that I had earned. We had a special day and it was really nice. So totally different project. I think I must have gone off the rail there. Let me try that one more time. I think I went a little off the rail. So the first one was 2.5. 3 3/4. I think I went off. I did. Okay. Perfect. Now we're good now. 6 3/4 and 8 1/4. Sorry about that. And, you know, when I make mistakes, it just shows you what to do if you do the same thing. So you don't, you know, think, oh no, I've ruined this and I can't fix it. And now what am I going to do? Well, just spend some time with me and you'll learn how to fix all your mistakes because I make lots of them, guys. Lots of them. All right, I'm putting my board away here. And I'm going to show you how to fix that mistake where I jumped the channel. You can see it clearly right here. So we're going to go to the back side and we're going to press that, the one we don't need. And see how softly I'm just pressing that? Then I'm going to make sure that when I score it the right way. So this one's going to go back. This one's going to go forward. So I want to make sure that the right score line gets pressed, and that will help me press it from this side, and you're not even going to be able to see it, okay? So This one gets bent this direction. This one comes back towards you. You kind of go mountain, valley, kind of how you go. Then the next score mark, and then the last one's going to come forward. And I'll show you again from the front and the back. So when you're burnishing, there's your marks. So we have mountain, valley, mountain, valley. All right. Now, the side that is the biggest is the bottom of your card. So when you go and bring your ruler in here, the side that's 2 3/4, that's the bottom. The side that's 2 1/2, that's the top. So the top is this section, and the bottom is where you're going to write your sentiment in here. Okay. So remember, the 2 3/4 is on this side. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and fold this. We're going to work on each section a little bit at a time. So I'm going to give you the measurements of all of the card stock, okay? I'm going to draw you a little sketch so that you guys can learn how to do this, okay? So we have, I'm just recreating our 11-inch piece, okay? So this is 4 1/4. Here's your 11-inch side. All right, here's our piece. The top section here is 2 1/2 inches. And then you have a 1 1/4 inch piece. Then you have a 3-inch piece. Then you have a 1 1/2 inch piece. And this bottom section, I didn't make it very much to scale, did I? But this is how I create things. On scrap paper, guys, so just welcome to my brain. This bottom section is 2 3/4. So if you make yourself a little template like mine, you can remember that this is the top, this is your middle section, and this is your bottom. Okay. The whole piece is 11 inches, and this piece is 4 1/4 total. And when you score, you're going to score down this long side at, I'm going to write long side here, okay, 2 1/2, 3 3/4, 6 3/4, and 8 1/4. That will get you. So if you do this with me, pause your video, rewind, and go back to this, draw yourself this template, and then this is my triple panel card. So now I have this for the next time I'm going to do one. So that's what I do when I'm designing. It just helps me. So we're going to make sure this top section, the 2 1/2, that's the top. So it's this section here. Okay. We're going to fold this. Now let's talk about our layers. Our top and our middle layers are going to be the same. Okay. They're going to get 2 pieces of Cajun craze that are 4 by 4 inches. So this one's going to go here like this. And our middle layer, remember, we have our little template, which is this one, is going to get this one. And see how we're not going to worry about that score mark, because where I jumped it, it's hidden underneath this panel, so you're never going to see it. Okay, so these two go on these 2 pieces here, like this. Okay, and each of these has a DSP piece on the top. This one has this print, the middle. So let's open. Has this print on it. And if you want it to go up and down, you can. I like mine trailing sideways. Okay. I'm going to fold this back. And the top one has this beautiful pattern. See? So then that one goes here. All right. So let's glue these layers on first, and then we'll glue it to our main card piece. So what I'm going to do is, because this is foil, you don't want to run your nail against it because it will make an impression on this side and you'll see it. So I'm going to use my silicone mat, and I'm going to put glue on the cardstock. And it has a very tiny border, so just don't get too close. And the way you can stop yourself is to put yourself a line that has about 1/4 of an inch. All right, and you don't want to go past that. So now you're just going to fill your center section like that. Okay, and I'm going to take my foiled piece, and it's 2 I'm sorry, it's 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, and I'm just gonna lay it on top of that glue that I have made right there, okay? So learn from my mistakes and put your glue onto your cardstock. So that's the first piece. Now this one, see how beautiful this foil is? And I cut these pieces off, but this one's gonna get glued here. I'm gonna do the same thing just because I'm trying to reinforce what I taught you on the foil piece. So we're gonna go around our piece about 1/4 of an inch, and it doesn't have to be perfect because we're not perfect, guys. So it's okay, all right? And then this one, I like mine to go across, so I'm just gonna stick it, but it doesn't matter how you glue it because this is a squared piece, so we can rotate it around if we glue it wrong. Like, let's say I glued it like this by accident, and I was like, oh, I wanted it to go sideways. Well, it's okay, we'll just glue it in this way. Once you glue it finally into this piece, you can't move it, but. All right, so there are my 2 pieces, okay? And then you have a piece of 4 by 2.5 inch, and this is crumb cake cardstock, and this is going to be the bottom layer, and this one's going to be where you're going to write your sentiment in here on this part of the card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my rich razzleberry, I'm going to grab my leaf stamp, and I want it to be a little bit decorative. I don't want it to be plain. See how I did here? I'm going to do 3 leaves, so I'm just going to ink those up and put 1, 2, 3 there, and we'll do the same up here. 1, 2, and we'll turn this one 3. All right, so those are our leaves. I'm gonna clean my stamp. It will be stained, but that's okay. It still stamps perfectly fine, and it's clean because you see nothing else is coming out onto my chamois. Now, we're going to do our words, and we want it to say Autumn Wishes. So I'm going to grab that stamp. Here it is. See how pink it is? Because I've already used it in this color. And this color loves to stain our stamps, but the beauty is our stamps are easy to clean, even though they're stained, they stamp perfect. So I'm just using a scrap piece that's way too big. But if you want to cut, if you want it the same size as mine, it's 3 1/4 by 1 inch. So just stamp that near the bottom because we're going to trim it. I'm going to show you. We're going to use our Cajun Craze ink pad next because I've cut a piece of Cajun Craze and die cut it out. So I used about a 2 3/4 inch by 2 3/4 inch square, and then I cut this circle out of it, and I'll show you which circle it is. It is the second one in from our circles on this stylish shape. So we're going to bring that in. Let me clean my Autumn Wishes before I stick my hand into that lovely Autumn Wishes. So I need the stamp that says, I'm so fond of you. I love the fonts in this stamp set. I think they're so cool. So we're going to stamp this in the center of our circle. All right, I'm so fond of you, Autumn Wishes. Now, we've also stamped our main image in Memento Tuxedo black ink on basic white cardstock. And I use a 1/4 sheet of white, and I can get 2 of these large stamps stamped onto that 1/4 piece. So this is what I inked up with my black. I stamped it down. I did color it and cut it out for us so it wouldn't be here for 50 years. Not that it takes that long, but there it is. Oh, look, see, my hands are loving this ink. So let me give it a wipe on here and make sure that I don't stain my cardstock or touch stuff and be upset. Another thing you can do is if you get ink on your hands, I keep a rag in my drawer that's well loved, and this sprayer bottle has rubbing alcohol in it. Or you can use hand sanitizer, okay? And when you rub that together, it evaporates into the air. And if it's really bad, then I rub it with my rag. So that's another tip for when you make a mess. Let's go ahead and clean our I'm So Fond of You. All right. So I told you I've already stamped and cut this out. And then we have on the inside, around that circle, we have 3 flowers, okay? So I've done 2 of them, and I'm gonna do one with you here today. And then we can start assembling our card, because we're doing awesome. We have all our parts and pieces, they're coming together. Let's go ahead and color. So for our flowers, the colors that I used was light Blackberry Bliss, which looks very much like Rich Razzleberry, which is why we don't have a Rich Razzleberry marker. I used dark Crumb Cake, and I used Cajun Craze, light and dark. So those are the colors. And I've used the light soft suede to highlight my dark Crumb Cake. And I've used this one to highlight itself. So since I already have, you can see here on the inside, I have this flower done and I have this flower done. So we're gonna do this one right here. So the flower is gonna go in Crumb Cake, and I like to outline each of my flower petals like so. And I'm avoiding those little dots in the center of my flower there, okay? Because I'm going to do those in a different color. So you can see that I have done the dark Crumb Cake. Now I'm going to take the light soft suede and use it as a highlight. I'm going to use these artist lines that are on here, and I'm just going to go over the tops of those like that. That's going to give me a little bit of highlight. Now the center is going to be in this light Blackberry Bliss, and I'm going to do all of these little dots. So I'm just going to kind of go over them in a dot pattern, just kind of dotting all of them and not really being so careful, and then I'm going to fill the center like that. Okay, and I'm just going to keep filling the center because I really want to darken it, and I want this outer section to stay lighter. So I'm just layering my color over and over again. All right. Now the leaves are going to be Cajun Craze. So I'm going to start with the light Cajun Craze, and I'm going to outline just like I did with my flower petals, and then I'm going to fill in. So we're going to use the light, outline, and fill in. Then I'm going to use the dark Cajun Craze, and like we did on the flower petals, I'm just going to go over those lines just like that. Now we are going to die cut out this flower, so we need our die cut here, and we have this one that cuts our flower out. Let me grab my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I love it because it's so small and compact. It fits really great in the camera. So I love this little guy. Okay, so we're going to open it up. We're going to put our number 1, our number 2. We're going to put our flower down here. We're going to layer our die over the top so that we can see all the black outlines all the way around our flower. And then I'm going to pull this back, and I'm going to lay this over the top, and I'm going to hold it right there. Okay, and then I'm going to press it in, turn my hand crank. And when I get to where the die is, it gets a little tougher, so I want to hold on to the top. And then it will come out the other side. We'll lift this one off. Bring this one up to you. When I pull this off, there's my die cut piece. Bring it down here with its other flowers, and we're going to put the die away right away. Now these magnetic pieces, I purchased those separately, and I use them because I love them. The dies come attached with double stick tape, and I like the magnet because then I never lose one of my dies. So it's just an add-on that I buy. You don't have to. Lots of people I know just use the double stick tape, but I love the magnet. That's what that is. All right, let's start gluing this puppy together. We're gonna do one last thing. We're gonna fix our autumn wishes. So I'm gonna I have a little guillotine cutter that I keep on my desk, and I'm just gonna trim the top of this autumn wishes there's my size. I'm going to get rid of this. This is a scrap I'm just not going to use. And I'm going to use my paper snips, and I'm going to flag the ends. So I'm going to come in here, and then I'm going to come from this side and do the same thing. And if I didn't get all the way, I'll just have to slice again. One more time. And come in from this side, just like that. Oops, a little long. There we go. So that's my autumn wishes. And we'll throw away the scraps. And now it is time to start attaching everything down. All right, so on the back of my main piece, I'm going to put dimensionals. Okay, so I'm flipping that over. And I've kind of gone through a lot of dimensionals lately, so I'm just going to use the edges because I have too many dimensionals all over my desk. And I'm going to show you how to use these. So you're just going to trim like this. And you can just kind of go around and just cut these edges. And then you're just going to pull them off and stick them down around your edge. Come on. This one doesn't want to come off. It's like, no, don't use me. All right, that one. We have one more here. All right, put that one. I'm going to put the straight edge along there. All right, we have a few more. So I'm just working my way around this image and just putting them, I mean, I do over dimensionalize. You don't have to use as many as I do, but I think it adds a lot of stability to my projects. And I think it's well worth what I'm doing to make sure I take a lot of pride in what I make. And I also take a lot of time to make my projects and design them. So I do not mind spending a little bit and putting plenty of dimensionals on the backs of my projects. So I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna give them a little cuts. I won't use all of these, but I'll have it ready for the next time. I'm gonna take this large one here and stick it in the center. And then we're gonna take maybe two more small ones. And then I'm gonna put one here and one there. All right, put those in my bin. This is gonna get attached onto this piece. So let's go ahead and pull all the backs off. I'm going to use my take your pick tool and see how easy it is to lift these off when you use your take your pick tool. And once it's saturated, you just take that and put it right into your trash can and move on to the next spot and start pulling these guys off until it's saturated. One more time and we should have all of them off. That one still has one more. There we go. Now they're all off. And we're going to attach this layer onto our piece here. It's going to stick off a tiny bit, which is okay. Actually, let me not glue that down yet. I'm getting a little ahead of myself and excited. And then we need some dimensionals. So we're going to use whatever's left on that sheet that I cut. Here we go. Onto our autumn wishes here. So let's just glue these little half pieces across here. One more in the middle, and then I can throw this well loved and well used backing in the trash. All right, let's glue this down first, okay? So this is going to go right here, and we want these edges to be covered. So again, we're going to put our adhesive on this. So I'm going to put my mat underneath it just in case I make a mess. And remember how I did that line? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to drag this downwards. I put a little extra there. Okay. And I'm just going to fill that in. All right. So we're going to lay this piece right there. Slide it into place. And that looks pretty awesome. Make sure it's straight. I'm happy with it. And I am. All right. Now let's go ahead and attach this down. Now that I have it in place, okay? And then I'm going to pull the backs off of my autumn wishes. And we'll place this in this bottom section right here. That looks great. All right, so there's our front. Okay. Let's glue this back section on next because it's super simple and we don't have to worry about placement. So we're going to go ahead and put it onto the back of this piece all the way around. And this is where you're going to write your sentiment to whoever you are writing your card to and sign your name. All right, so there is, okay, so now we just need the center, the middle section. Okay, so we're going to open this up. I'm going to flip this back. And we're not going to attach anything to this piece. We're going to attach it to this piece. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to put adhesive on this panel. So we're going to run a line all the way around. And then we're going to fill in the center. Okay. And remember, I wanted mine to go across. If you guys want yours up and down, place it up and down. I'm putting mine sideways. And I'm going to lay this panel on here. And once I've laid it, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to make sure that it lines up with this one. And see, they're the same size. So as long as I lay it here and those line up with those edges, we're good to go. So that's what we have so far. Pretty good, right? Pretty awesome. I'm loving this. Make sure that my score marks are good. I think I might have cut that just a hair too big, but it's okay. All right, so we're going to tie a ribbon here, but on the inner section here, we're going to put our I'm So Fond of You. When I get a little carried away with the glue, got to use my adhesive remover. Okay, so we're going to attach this flat. I'm so fond of you. And then the 3 flowers. All right, so we're putting this off to the side. And the key is we don't want it to show when we close our flap. So we got to test it. See? Covered. That's all you want to make sure. You're right underneath that flap. So once you're good, you're just going to put your glue on the back of your 3 flowers, and then we'll add those. There's one. And then we'll tie our ribbon, put our embellishments, and we will be good to go. I'm glad you guys stayed with me. Please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment if you have any questions. Or if you just want to let me know what you thought of the video, I would love to hear it. Just please be kind. It is a lot of work to do the things that I do, but I love it. And I just appreciate all kind feedback. All right, so let's add this flower next. We're going to put this one in this direction. I'm going to kind of put the leaves so that they're up like that. And then we're going to put this one so that the leaves are up in the other direction like that. Perfect. I love it. All right, so there's that. Let's tie our ribbon. So the ribbon is about 14 inches. We're just going to make sure that it's flat. And this is our gray granite. I think it's called Glimmer ribbon. Gray granite. Let's see. Shimmer ribbon. I was close. So it does have this sheen to it that's so pretty. And I loved it because it has, you know, the foil has that beautiful color to it. So I'm just holding this in the center with my finger. I'm going to lay my finger there, and I'm just going to, see that loop I made? I'm going to tuck that through, pull it through the other side, and I'm keeping my finger in the center until I pull this knot tight. And then I'm going to trim these edges. So we'll trim this one, and this one will get trimmed this way. Fantastic. And then I will pull on this and line it up how I want it to look. Bring it more towards the edge here. Fantastic there. Okay. And then let's go ahead and lay our card. So this is what our card looks like. And when you pull, you have "I'm so fond of you." And when you pull all the way, you have whatever you want to write to whoever's receiving your card. So isn't this a cute fun fold, this triple panel? I'm going to trim this one down just slightly. I think it's a little too long. Let's go there. And then we have to match it, of course. So let's match this side. And then the last step is the embellishments. And I chose to use the champagne rhinestones because I thought they matched the top layer so well. See how pretty they are? They're kind of a rose gold colored. So we are going to use 2 large ones and a small. And I'm going to use the back end here, this putty end of my Take Your Pick tool. So I'm going to get the putty ready so I can pick up these little pieces. I'm going to start with this little one. I'm going to put it on this Autumn Wishes right there in the corner. Actually, I'm going to dot the eye with it. It'll be so cute. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to use the larger ones here. So I'm going to grab one of those. I'm going to put in the center of this flower. And then I'm going to add another one somewhere in this cluster here of my little acorns. And I think that looks pretty great. You can add more if you want more sparkle. Feel free to put more on there. You get quite a bit of these in the package. There's 140 gems, so they do last quite a while. So you can feel free to be generous and put plenty of those onto your project. I'm sure that I have wiggled my mat all over the place because I do get a little bit excited when I am stamping and doing my projects. So I will leave this one open and this one closed so that you guys can see how they look. Again, I used the Fond of Autumn bundle. Okay. And we also used the Stylish Shapes dies. So I hope you enjoyed the projects. Give me a thumbs up, share my video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And check out my website. All the links are in the description below so that you can purchase what it is that I use to make them. I'd love to be your demonstrator if you don't have one. All you need to do is go to my website, and when you get there, just choose me as your demonstrator on checkout, and I'd be happy to be your demonstrator. I do give a free tutorial bundle for every 50, not for every 50, for a $50 or up order in the month. And every single order, no matter how much it is, does receive my customer appreciation card every month that you guys can recycle and send to somebody that you like. I do post that on my website around the second Monday of the month. So check that out. And thanks again for being here. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping!